Let me just find the right one. And here we are. And I will just put it in full screen. Okay.
Yes, perfect.
Let me come back to the first slide. Well, thank you for having me and to talk about this nice topic of the future. I don't know, do you want to proceed? Do you want me to explain who I am and what the projects we're working on with our clients, maybe?
Yes, please.
So quick introduction. So I'm Marc Org. I'm the co-founder of a creative agency called OK C'est Cool in French. OK, it's cool. And we work mostly with luxury and beauty brands to explore with them new playgrounds of communication. The goal is really to try to help them to explore something they never tried before. So this is a question we ask our clients all the time. When was the last time you did something new? When was the last time you tried something or a platform or a communication or a campaign that you've never done before? And I think it's really what is exciting for us as creatives to find ways to communicate that are not usual and that are fresh, new, and bringing something cool to consumers. So basically, we created the agency 3 years ago. We are focusing on creation and innovation because we believe there is this sweet spot between emerging technologies, new communities also, and the cultures linked to these new communities, and also because technology is driving new cultures. We really see that we have a gaming culture, we have a tech culture more and more, and we help brands to define their strategies on these fields, and we craft experiences for them at the very perfect intersection of this tech, culture, and community. So we bring experiences at large. It can be digital experiences, it can be in real life experiences, it can be a mix of both. And we believe that it's not about the medium, but it's about the emotion and what you create for the consumers at the end that is important. And we are lucky enough to work with many major global brands since the beginning of the agency. We started to work with LVMH through the Web3 program of Hennessy, and we will come back to that in a moment. But basically, we do their innovation strategies in 3 years on different topics. It was Web3 and NFTs, but we also work with them on 3D, AI, and other innovation experiential projects. And we work with other LVMH brands as Guerlain, Dior. We have different contact with the global team also. And we also have a lot of clients on the L'Oréal group, where we were working with L'Oréal Professionnel on some content and strategy for some futuristic projects, and I will show you later what it's about. But we were also working with Yves Saint Laurent Beauté on their new engagement loyalty program based on blockchain, and it was really a way to reinvent loyalty and to reinvent the way we interact with consumers daily, because we believe that there is many ways to change the traditional way of getting some points because you buy some products, and to make something more gamified, more interactive, more experiential. So this is the way we try to bridge our traditional knowledge of advertising, because we were working with my co-founder in traditional networks for years. And we really try to explore something more innovative in the way you approach the consumer connection with other brands. And we have other brands also, like lifestyle brands like Hoka, that is a running brand, and Adobe, and also cinema brands that we were working in France. So it brings us to some pretty and cool projects we try to explore with this traditional historical brand like Hennessy has 250 years of existence, and it's a traditional brand that is bringing the know-how, all the knowledge they have on the creation of exceptional products, but they still want to innovate. And they are always at the forefront of culture and innovation, mostly because they are also very deeply involved in each part of the world on the local cultures. NSC is not the same in the US, it's not the same in China, it's not the same in Africa. And depending on the country you are and the type of product you like, you don't have the same perception of the brand. And when Web3 came, they wanted to explore this new digital world. It's really like a new space for them to explore with the same way to match the expectation and the cultural relevancy of the people in the space. And they were trying to develop something experimental, but bridging the traditional customers they have, the very loyal fan of the brand, with the Web3 audience and the people behind anonymous profiles having a lot of NFTs. And sometimes it was the same people, but sometimes it's really different crowds. So how you can build a strategy for that was really the key challenge we needed to answer. And it was really interesting to be the first agency to launch a LVMH Discord server for the gathering of these people. And so we started to create 3 years ago now the first community of Web3 holders of Hennessy. And it was a mix of NFT people from a DAO, a decentralized organization called Friends with Benefits. Maybe you know them, they are really culturally involved in a lot of projects. But we also invited on this program the core fans of Hennessy. And so it was really interesting because we were seeing a match of different cultures and we needed to find a way to interact with them, to create experiences for them that will be relevant in terms of culture for the fan of Hennessy, but also for the Web3 audience. And so we started by creating this ecosystem, this full brand called Hennessy with H3NSY. So it was like a condensed version of Hennessy. And we created the Twitter accounts, the Discord server, and a website. And we started to create activation only for them. This first one, I will show you the video, but it was a very good way to start and kick off the new playground we were having with this brand. And it was a way to bring also the core NFT fans on the server through something that was really high luxury for Hennessy because it was a partnership with Kim Jones. And they did a very specific XO Hennessy bottle with Kim Jones, and they created sneakers, Hennessy sneakers. And it was the first time that this spirit brand was creating a physical good with a very interesting things for collectors because it was really something they would love to have, and it was a very extremely limited edition. So we decided to keep some of the sneakers for our Web3 audience, and it was really the way to invite them to engage with what we created. So I will show you the case study of the full activation we orchestrated like 2 years ago. And it will show you the very beginning of this community. And it was the first activation before many others.
When Hennessy, the 250 years old spirit brand, partnered with Kim Jones for a limited edition, they released more than a bottle. They created the HNY Low sneakers, the first fashion item of the house. And sneakerheads went crazy. The problem, as usual, this very limited edition will not be accessible to everyone. Hennessy decided to make it an opportunity to bring attention to Hennessy, its new Web3 platform created to blend cultures and communities. Hennessy presents the Epic Drop, a fair and inclusive chance to win the sneakers, but only for those who deserve it. We created requests, a series of clues hidden online in the Hennessy ecosystem. To launch it, we partnered with 3 major influencers, 2 Bored Apes and 1 World of Women, representing the most influential communities in the NFT world. We leveraged their IP and we brought their avatars to life. to invite their followers to participate in the birth activation of Hennessy. And they played a lot. Hundreds of participants, thousands of messages on the Discord. The results exceeded our expectations. More than 110,000 impressions on Twitter, 1,000 new followers on Twitter, 1,200 messages in the Discord, and 100% of positive feedback. In just 1 week, we transformed Hennessy into a key player of Web3.
So what I find interesting is this campaign. It was really what we tried to do to mix two cultures and to create this convergence with these bored apes that are really specific. If you are into Web3, you for sure you know bored apes and you know these influencers. But apart from Web3, they are not well-known stars as usually Hennessy is partnering with. So for them, it was a little bit a challenge and a risk to go into these cultures and understand the codes and the way you can't communicate the same way. They are all into riddles, clues, gaming. So we were inspired by this way to communicate and to create engaging activation, because the goal was to create some interactions, some messages on the Discord, to create some excitement around the launch. And when we started to build this community, the goal was to make them stay on the Discord and make them interact with the next activation and project we were bringing to them, but also to create another dynamic. I really like this idea of what we call multiplayer brands. The multiplayer brand is this concept from Zoe Skaman, that is a strategist working on this idea of co-creation and collaboration. And we wanted to find a way to use these very specific fans, really involved people from the brand, to co-create some activation with us, to work on some other not traditional way to communicate in a very vertical manner, because the goal is not to just give you the message of the brand, but to offer them the chance to speak, to have a voice, to have an opinion, to maybe give their creative ideas for the brand. And you still have the control at the end, but the goal was really to find a way to use them and to let them closer to the brand. So it requires a little bit of letting go, and you need to accept that you can't control all the brand image if you invite them to give their ideas, because at the point it's a way to share with them, but it goes both ways. But if you are successful in that way to co-create or to collaborate with a fan, the engagement is going much deeper. And we are working in a world where the engagement right now is fractionalized. There is, like, in the US, more than 15 loyalty programs for each citizen. So they can't be engaged the same way with every brand. So the goal is not to get more customers, but to go deeper in the customer experience and engagement. And so the way to offer them co-creation, collaboration, to let them feel that they are, like, listened by the brand, it's a way to create a deeper engagement and to transform fans into ambassadors and into like people that will share the values of the brand more than any partnership that will be commercial only. And we wanted to explore this kind of dynamic of co-creation, and it was the perfect occasion to do it with these people in Web3, because it was very engaged people already asking for more interaction with the brand, because from Web3 you really want the ownership of your assets. You really believe that you can take part of something bigger. So collaboration is key in Web3. And we decided to start an experiment with them and to create the first limited edition of a Hennessy bottle made with the community. And the goal was not to let them just choose one color or everything. It was really to build, since the very beginning of the limited edition, the discussion, the creative ideas, the selection of the artist, and every step that were involved to decide what will be the bottle that will represent the community. And so it was a process that took 4 months. And for 4 months, they were starting to talk with the CEO at the beginning. Laurent Boyot, the CEO of Hennessy himself, went into Discord and Twitter space to start the brief for the community. and to explain why co-creation and this cultural relevancy is important for Hennessy and why they want people to be more involved in the brand. And it started like that with the selection of one artist and the vote for each step of the production. So it was a VSOP community edition, we call it like that. We also have a video to explain the project. I will let you discover how we tell the story, but it was a very interesting and long-term project with the brand that was actually released last month. So the bottle is now available on Block Bar, and I'll let you see the story.
Hennessy has always been invited to culturing communities. So when they stepped into Web3, they invited them back with Cafe 11, the first digital community for Hennessy lovers. It started online, on the Hennessy Discord server, accessible only for NFT holders. For months, we animated this community around debates, creative contests, games, and of course, real-life events from Miami to Lisbon, from London to Salt Lake. But we decided to go a step further to truly embody the spirit and the diversity of this community. Hennessy presents the VSOP Community Edition, entirely co-created with our members. The first step, we gave them a brief with rules, IP constraints, timeline. Then they chose an artist, John Desero, to turn into pictures their inspirations.
What I found most interesting was how far away everybody was, but also how close they were as a community. I asked people to send me images where they like to have their drink.
For weeks, they shared images, gave feedback, and voted at each step of the production. And John made it very unique.
I was really inspired by the bottles on the conveyor belt as they were coming together for labeling. I thought about them like an animation. I made each label an individual piece of artwork that seamlessly transitioned. If you have one of the bottles, it is one slide of the whole animation series.
The result? 100 personalized bottles, only accessible for Cafe 11 members on Block Bar, a token-gated marketplace. Each one comes with a digital twin living in the blockchain, making this experience truly unique, not only for the members, but also for Hennessy.
So it was quite
It's-
unique.
It's
Sorry.
amazing, Mark. Fantastic. Congratulations.
Well, it was quite interesting because when you work with such a big brand as Hennessy, that is really always you can't make a mistake. And when you work with some anonymous people on the Discord, you never know what can happen after. So it was also the way for us to experiment on something we truly believe in, the co-creation, but how to make it with rules, to create a canvas, to make sure that the space you give, the blank space you give to people for them to express their ideas, their opinions, was never something putting the brand at risk, never something that will also not match the DNA and the history of the brand. So it's a very nice way to find the balance between the control and the freedom you give them, and make sure that you, at the end, the brand is happy with the product and what they created with the community. But most of all, the goal is for the community to be super happy about the product at the end. And we started to see the result. They received the bottle after a year. So it was because the production happened after. So it was a co-creation happening more than a year and a half ago. And then they had to wait for 2 years for them to get the product. So it's not for everyone. It's not working with every type of fans of a brand. We clearly don't identify typical different type of fans. There is the followers that are not really engaged. Maybe they like sometimes. There is the CRM members that are people with more engaged relationship with the brand because they buy products, because they want to know what is new on the brand. And then you go into different level of super fans. And when the super fans are involved, they are really happy to do more than just participating or voting. They want to give their ideas. They write articles about it. We had people sharing podcasts about the projects because they love the brand and because they were so involved and they were having the chance for once to talk about it. It was for them amazing to create that. And for the brand also, because even if it was only 100 bottles, it was still a very new thing for them, and it inspired them to create other ways to co-create not only products, it can be campaigns, it can be social assets, it can be events, collaboration with creators. So usually luxury brands, they know well co-creation and collaboration with one creator, one artist or different type of other brands. But with the community, it's always more risky. But it's really something we see more and more on the clients we have. They really want to look at many ways to change the traditional way to communicate with their communities. And they start to understand the power of opening the brand image and letting the people inside the brand more to give their opinions and to share ideas. So it's still something that we explore with other brands, with L'Oréal mostly, and we have also a playbook of co-creation to explain each step if a brand wants to go inside this kind of process, because it has to be also very clear in terms of rules, guidelines, legal issues, planning, who is the spokesperson of the brand. So there is many ways to do it, but we find super interesting to see so many new big brands starting to get involved into this kind of co-creation. And it can go other ways. I mean, we saw recently Fenty into Roblox doing co-creation for a makeup product, and fans were just customizing the product, but at the end, Rihanna herself was choosing the winner. So it was super exciting for a lot of customers to make sure they can have a chance to be chosen by the artist they love. So there is many ways to create interactions. It can be easy or it can be complicated in terms of process, but depending on the level of engagement, it's possible. So it was really as a 2 years of experiment in Web3 with Hennessy. Maybe you know that NFTs and brands are not always matching these days because of the bear market that was hard and because of the also revenue model that is not super clear. So a lot of our clients decided to slow down into Web3. Doesn't mean they don't believe in the technology itself, but the trend of culture creation and communities is a little bit not at the core of their interest right now. It's mostly a digital product passport, how to transform the authenticity, traceability, and the way you can fight counterfeit or make sure you have an experience before and after the physical product. So it's also something really transformative in terms of services, but it's less oriented culture. And for us, it was also what was exciting us, because as a creative agency, what we believe is we can create more interesting campaigns when it comes to some very trendy elements. So they all started to slow down into Web3, but we still work with NSC on different innovation topics. We work into the 3D development of the brand, because they didn't do it before, but they start to create the digital twin of each product they create, and to have a 3D bank of assets they can release to all their partners and agencies, so we can make sure that we have all the 3D products to make sure we can use them in different type of asset creations. And we work with them on this process of developing the 3D and virtual side of the brand. We also work on the AI topic with them, because as many brands and our innovation manager at Hennessy she's really involved into all these topics from 3D to AI and to Web3. And we are exploring ways to produce content in a very more efficient and with less cost, also cost killing manner. And 3D, oh, I forgot this slide, but 3D is used everywhere now. So this is why it's so important for brands to make sure they understand the tech and create the synergies between the different assets. I give you this example because it's a good explanation of what we do in 3D. They created a Chinese New Year edition last year with Chinese artists that created very beautiful movies and prints based on 3D dragons he was creating. But we decided to push the experience further and to create some content like that is what we call fake out of home. and they were released before Chinese New Year. But we also did a real augmented reality experience, not on Snapchat or Instagram, but on Web AR. So it was on the mobile of everyone because we needed to release it in China in WeChat. So it has to be web only. And we created an experience when anyone could share and experience a dragon flying around you. So it was really using the 3D of the artist used for prints and traditional images into new ways of communication. And it was also a way for us to bring what we feel is more exciting for a younger audience compared to a traditional retail activation where we see only the main prints. So this is the kind of video that is working really well in terms of social engagement. And the AI exploration is also related to that because of our experience in 3D, we are able to keep the product always perfect because AI is still not perfectly 100% accurate on all the details of the product, of the label, of the shape. So what we do basically is we create different environments through AI, and we integrate the bottles and the product on the AI environment. It's not always important to do it. Sometimes it's better to do a traditional campaign with a photographer and shooting and some models. We also don't want to create fake comedians or artists or people that we want to represent on the advertising, because for us it's also a little ethical problem if we start to replace the authenticity of people through fake people. But it's still coming because for some assets it's easier to produce small contents when you don't have the background for the shooting, when you want to adapt the location, the seasonality, the time of the day, depending on the location of your customers. You can really adapt each campaign. There is also legal issues. We were working on some campaigns where in France we are really strict in terms of what you can represent in a spirit brand advertising campaign, and we decided to change with AI some elements on the visuals to make sure it's legally approved. And so it was a way to avoid and recreate a full campaign from scratch. So there is many ways to produce more with a more agile approach, and also less time sometimes and less money because we don't have the studio, we don't have the people on the set design. So it's a way for us to produce content, and we do that kind of exploration of processes with also Dior and other houses of LVMH and L'Oréal. So it's something that is more and more common to see AI involved. I don't know if you have any question until
A
now.
question. All the background is AI or a few elements in this example?
It's fully AI on the background.
Only AI.
The only thing is the bottom.
The bottom, okay.
But we usually a mix. Like we work right now on some campaign where the cocktail needs to be really precise also, and AI is still lacking precision, and you can have precision, but you don't have the same quality, and the output is not as good as if you use some other models with a better quality. So when the brand wants really to have the quality plus the precision, usually we bring 3D to just adjust the precision.
Yes. Let me ask you if someone wants to ask. Alguém que quer tirar alguma dúvida, fazer alguma pergunta, Gabriela? Pode abrir seu áudio.
Morning, bom dia. Eu pergunto em inglês ou pergunto em português? Como é que eu faço?
Pode perguntar em inglês se você quiser, se você estiver tranquilo para perguntar.
I write on a box about my question, but I'm gonna say it. Do you think that NFT is so stronger than it was before nowadays?
If NFC or NFTs, I was like
NFT. She asked if NFT is still stronger than it was.
Depends on
É isso?
yeah,
Yes, if NFT is so stronger nowadays than it was before.
yeah. I mean, it depends on the way you analyze the NFT world. Because if you look at the number of NFTs, I give you one example. There is this consortium called Aura. Aura is a NFT brand solution for luxury brands. They have like investors with LVMH, OTB, Richemont. So the major luxury groups invested in Aura, so they can digitalize the existence of each product with an NFT linked to the product. And they started to release millions of NFTs every month because it's included on the supply chain now. And when you create a new, it's mostly for like bags or not the small pieces, but like a luxury bag. Now you have the digital passport that is an NFT, but nobody knows that it's an NFT. I mean, it's a digital asset based on the blockchain, so it's an NFT, but it's not the NFT culture and revolution we saw 2 years ago, 3 years ago, because with the NFT world and the NFT technology, we saw all these JPEGs, profile pics, the Bored Apes, the Asuki, the brand Artifact that was acquired by Nike. All of them were delivering NFTs, but it was mostly a brand behind. It was a project selling digital experiences. And from what we see, all the NFT value of these collections, of these brands, is really going down now because there is not the same amount of new customers compared to 3 years ago. The money is not as high as before. The value of crypto is changing a lot. So sometimes it was also complicated for them to continue to deliver the projects they wanted to develop. So I don't believe that NFTs as a technology is fading. I think it's trying to find a way to be more useful and less speculative in a way, because speculation was a part of the NFTs, and for the trading crypto community, it was a way to use them. But for us, as people who are looking at marketing and services, we believe NFTs have a really important role to transform the way we can interact with the digital world without this idea of speculation, of trading, or of selling. Or it can be on specific cases, for example, in generative art. It's still a world where the NFTs are going high because it's art and it's linked to the traditional market of art. And we see artists selling NFTs to museums, traditional museums, to Sotheby's, to Christie's. So this space is a bit different because they understood before that the interest of speculative digital assets, because they come from speculation. The market of art is speculation at the end. And so they know that they can create value through something that is purely artistic with no tangible utility. So the market of the digital art is a bit specific, I think. But on the other part of the NFT world, a lot of projects are really going down because of the evolution of the trends also and the interest of the community.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Marc. Então, alguém mais quer perguntar alguma coisa dessa primeira parte do Marc? Não? Então tá. Ok. You can continue. Thank you.
I can continue then, because I almost said everything I can say about Hennessy. We still work on other experiences and projects that are more interactive, but I will be happy to share it in a few months when it will be out. But it's not Web3 only related, even if it's also linking the virtual and the physical world. But it's still something.
Sorry, I have a question. And about the community, what happened with the community that co-created the bottle and the first project?
For the Hennessy community?
Yes.
Well, when we started at the very beginning, the community, when they were buying one NFT to be part of it, we announced that they will have access to the party we were organizing in Miami, other physical and digital experiences and events.
Mhm.
And it was not a list of specific utilities because we didn't know at the very beginning if we will have to stop after 6 months or years.
Yes, yes.
And I think we released a lot of things that were creating value for them because they did a few
For
very
sure.
specific events. We did a party in Lisbon with some street artists, inviting them into a very specific behind the scene exhibition of the artist. They had some NFTs from the artist. Then we did the bottle, the Kim Jones collaboration. So it was a lot of little things. And when we decided to finalize the limited edition of collaborative in the collaborative process, we told them that it will be the last part of the project, and it will be the last utility they will have. They can still continue to go to the Discord and continue to chat and everything, but we will not invest anymore to bring them experiences, or at least not in this format. So we explained to them a year and a half ago that when the bottle will be released, they will receive it for free because it was part of the gift also that the brand gave to them. And at the end, now it's over for this first chapter, but maybe it will come back from with another
Okay, thank you.
project, another shape.
Cool, thank you.
So Hennessy doing great things, but in the other side, we work with L'Oréal, and L'Oréal is also exploring a lot of different topics and with a different approach. Depending on the brand of L'Oréal, they do some experiment also. They try, they test and learn a lot, and they really want to understand the benefits or the problems they were facing or the solution they found, and to share that with other brands of L'Oréal Group. So it's really a way to try many things when they feel something is coming. And so we are working with the innovation department of the global team at L'Oréal on different topics, but they were also giving us access to brands that wanted to explore different things and innovative things that they usually don't know how to create. And for example, our first project with one of the L'Oréal brands was L'Oréal Professionnel. So it's this hairstyle brand working only with professional hairstylists. And they wanted to open their main contest called Style and Color Trophy. That is the international contest of hairstyling every year. And they wanted to open it for 3D artists and CGI artists at large, because they were feeling the importance of the self-representation online and the way people were expecting their avatars to look more interesting, more crazy, more colorful. So when you see that the Roblox customers, the players are all more interested by the way they look their avatars compared to the way they look in the real life, it's really interesting to see this shift. The virtual world is becoming more and more important on the eyes of the young generations, because they feel that the way you look in the virtual world is as important as the real life. And people are buying outfits or styles sometimes to match their avatars. It's not the other way around. It's really like being inspired by something you did online. You wanted to express yourself this way online, and it's showing you who you truly are, and they want to come back to that. So it's really interesting to see this shift and to see brands that are only doing physical things understanding the process of creating value through the digital world. And so we created this avatar that was the representation, the face of the brand for their first metaverse virtual edition. So it was bridging the 3D artist on the virtual world and the physical hairstylists at the event. So it was all together. And the artist we were working with, called Samy Lacrapule, that is a French young, very talented 3D artist, was also invited into the jury of the traditional hairstylist to give his opinion about the winners of the physical edition. So it's really not separating the world, but bridging and merging them because they understand that it's more fluid than ever. It's more there is no boundaries that much between virtual and physical now. And they started to do that regularly. So we did this first avatar, and the work was really amazing in terms of 3D. It's really pushing the limits of what you can do in terms of texture. So it was also very impressive for the 3D community. So it was demonstrating the expertise of L'Oréal Professionnel even in the virtual world. So it was really interesting for the brand to keep this edgy, professional quality that they can bring to traditional hairstylists. And we did it the next year with the same approach to change totally the look of the first avatar, but it was really to show that you can express yourself in many ways that you can't in the real life. The virtual world gives you the freedom of having like luminous neon light on your hair, something that is moving, defying gravity. And it was also what was super inspiring for the main ambassador of L'Oréal Professionnel. It's an hairstylist called Charlie Lemindu, working with many Hollywood stars and really famous in the hairstyle world. And he's really inspired by what he can't do in the physical world. And he was really asking us, and we were discussing that, is it possible to create hairstyles that are, I don't know, moving when we walk, moving, changing shape in the time, changing colors. And we started to also work on a second project with L'Oréal Professionnel that was really interesting.
Mark,
I
sorry.
see a question, yeah.
Yes.
The
You can see the question?
Yes, I see
Yes,
the
yes,
question.
okay.
If I come back to this one, it was created by different softwares. The avatar was from a meta-human that was like more remodeled after. And meta-human is from the company called Epic Games and Unreal Engine, but they used mostly Maya for the modeling. But for the hairstyle, it's a specific software that is really only for all the hair and fur and this kind of specific textures. So it's a mix of 4 different type of talents to create that. One only working on the hair shape, the other one only on the texture. And the main artist, Sami, is creating the vision and bridging everything together in Maya to make it happen. But I can come back with more details with the name of the hairstyle software if needed, but I don't have it in mind right now.
Okay.
But it depends on, but it's a good question because 3D is always a bit tricky for brands that never tried 3D before. And we need to do a lot of explanation and explain all the workflow and the pipeline of production for them to understand the way it works and the way it's important to not forget, for example, to validate the model before you do the texturings and the rendering, because compared to some other type of production, you can't come back as easily at the very beginning if you are animating the very last end of the movie. And I see so many times CEO or marketing director saying like, yeah, but I don't want that. I want to change these little elements. And they don't realize that it will force the team to come back at the very beginning of modeling, texturing, and everything. So it's really interesting also to see what is the goal of the production. On this type of production, you really want to have a crisp, sharp image with the most detailed elements. And it's a good way to talk about the next one that we did with them, because they wanted to release avatars, hairstyles on different gaming platforms. It was the same strategy of understanding the importance of representation online, the digital self, and they wanted to make sure that people can find L'Oréal Professionnel if they wanted to have a crazy hairstyle. So they worked with us on the drop of first five hairstyles on Roblox, on Zipito, the metaverse, Korean metaverse. It's mostly present in Asia. And the last one was Ready Player Me. That is a platform bridging avatar solution for many other web platforms. And so we released 3 5 hairstyles, but depending on the platform, the constraints are not the same. So the Roblox hairstyle is slightly different compared to the Ready Player Me that is more detailed, compared to the Zepito one that is more colorful because we have more like possibilities in terms of technical boundaries. And so we created these hairstyles, we created the assets to announce they are online. We also took care of the communication around the launch on the platform themselves. And we did that 3 times during the year. So every 3 months, we came back with new hairstyles and we did many drops like that before the final release of the contest they did for the Style and Color Trophy. And one part of the contest was happening inside Roblox on Fashion Famous, one of the big game in Roblox. And all the people going to Fashion Famous could discover the finalists of the virtual hairstyles and try the L'Oréal Professionnel hairstyles only for them, for free for their avatars on Fashion Famous. So it was really a full communication for their first steps on the virtual world. So I can show you a 3D video that is really more gaming in terms of texture, in terms of modeling, and we did it on purpose because the goal was really to play with the codes of this platform that are not always super precise in terms of looks. And we created everything in Unreal Engine with avatars that are we animated ourselves. I think it's the last image of my presentation, but it's a way to show you how different brands we work with are always interested by these new platforms, techs, and how you can bring everything together to still keep the DNA of the brand, keep something that is true to their values, and that is very interesting for not only the audience we target, but the broader audience to prove the innovation DNA they want to demonstrate also to the competitors and to their customers. So this is the way we work, and I'm happy to have the chance to show you that.
Amazing. Anyone have a question for this final project or any doubts?
I have a question, Mark. How do you see the future of this development when you start to use AI? Because I have seen you have done a wonderful job with the videos you have been sharing at the LinkedIn.
For us, AI is not, it's never a goal. It's like 3D. It's something that is not a goal, it's a tool. But it's a little bit more than a tool. It's something that will clearly change a lot of different parts of our industries. And I think we all need to understand that it will be faster than expected. I'm the first one to dig into all the innovation with AI, and even myself, I'm surprised by how fast it evolves. And we really try to keep up with the speed of development of the new tools, the new tech, because every month, every day, there is new innovations. But what we believe is there is a tech convergence. The convergence of the technologies is what is, for me, the most interesting part of that. I didn't show you this project, but we did an experiment with L'Oréal, for example, of an AR filter through your smartphone, and you can see your face. And it's a dynamic generative makeup. So the goal was to talk to your iPhone and you generate on the fly a makeup on your face. So I want a dragon makeup, and there is, because you bring the AI into the AR world, it creates something new. But it's only the beginning, because if you go further, you will see that what I was talking about, gaming, 3D content, interfaces, physical experiences, and with the new Meta Orion, the glasses, the augmented reality glasses, they are all trying to develop. Apple is doing the same for 27. Samsung is working on it. So at a point, we will have this convergence of 3D AI and immersive virtuality on our daily lives. And I believe that it's where creativity is needed, but also a little bit of boundaries, because right now it could be also a nightmare. It could be a dystopian future if we don't take care of, for example, the in the streets. You don't want to have blinking advertising everywhere, virtual pop-ups on your face. I think it's clearly what I don't want to see. And I believe that AI and also 3D can create more smooth experiences and seamless experiences with the virtual and the real world. There is many topics I like to explore on that, but for example, you can imagine yourself having your own little reality in real time, because AI is able to power something on your face or on the walls or on your physical outfits. So tomorrow, maybe you can be in the streets as your avatar and people can see your virtual outfits through their glasses, and it will not be weird. It will be as important as if you wear something from a luxury brand, but if it's virtual, it's okay. And maybe you will not need to buy shopping outfits every month, because you can just update the virtual layer of your outfits. That's one little example, but it will change the way we interact and we see our world in many ways. I'm pretty sure that the screen of the phone will be less and less used in the future. We can start to see the conversational agent that are able to speak to you. When you wear the Meta Ray-Ban, you have the sound, and they are working on some brainwave control. So Apple already have a patent to develop AirPods with brainwaves analysis. So you can maybe tomorrow control your phone just by thinking about it. So when you think about that, everything is moving. I think the web as we know it right now will evolve also quite quickly with AI, because we can see that, for example, the future of a website is not to have the same website for everyone. If you're in Brazil, maybe the image background is different from France, and it's not made by someone, it's generative, and it's made by the AI, depending on your cookies or softwares you use, or depending on the way you say that you like this. But we can go further. We can go to some website that can speak to you, and you don't have any content. They are like, what do you like today? What cocktails would you like to try? The weather is not good. Do you think your wife would like that? Because last time she didn't like the lime. I mean, that's something that could be very more personal and more interesting in terms of commerce compared to the basic e-commerce interfaces we know. So when you think about the convergence of all the tech, the LLM language, the tool when you can chat with, the creation of assets dynamically, the way interfaces can be more immersive, more virtual in augmented reality glasses, there is a very big shift coming for brands. And I also believe that some brands will not need that. At the opposite, I think brands can also say, like luxury brands mostly, like they don't want to mass produce in big factories. Sometimes they come back to craftsmanship, to local artisans. And so it will be the same with AI. At a point, you maybe don't want to have communication fully generated by something that is super not personal, like human made, and you want to come back to some very perfect craft made for like to show the quality you can bring with something that is human. So there is different roads. I think brands are exploring, and I think it's a good way to do it. I think it's also good to be cautious about the risks of AI, to make sure that you also put your weight on the balance in the right direction, because by choosing the wrong direction, I think it's something that can be really creating troubles in the future. And we saw it with the social web, like the Web 2. We all hate the like and the infinite scroll, because it was created to keep our attention, and it's something that is really bad. We feel it now, the mental health issues with that. And people that created that 10 years ago, they are also more than aware of that. They created association to fight their own creation. So I think we are still at this moment where we need to be careful about the way we want to use the new technology that are coming, and make sure that we try to understand what could be the impact, the societal impact, the commercial impact, the ecological impact. So many ways to make sure that we don't create monsters that we will regret in 10 years.
Right, thank you very much. One of the reasons for us to create this summit was it is, not it was, it is, because as you said, technology is moving, is to put people aware of what is being developed,
Yeah.
so that we as a society can participate and choose the ways we want in the future. But
Totally.
it was very, very realistic, I would say, the way you present some examples of the futures in the usage of these technologies. Thank you very much. The main one that I liked very much, it was said to me by Adriana, I think she's here or she's coming now. She said, she explained me, I mean, 8 years ago, exactly the same as you said. In the future, maybe we are going to see the clothes through a virtual way, in a digital way. And then now you are the second one to present the same case. So we are very close to that.
It's not new. I mean, the sci-fi books are selling this idea since 30 years, so more than 30 years. So
yeah, but you are both in the same environment. For us, me and everybody that is here that are outside, it's like, oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now for me, it's becoming the reality, and it's very interesting. I would say some ways, others
Yeah.
I don't like, as you said. Brands pop up in my mind or the sounds, but as you also said, we have to decide. But very, very good. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for having me. And if you want to keep it in touch or ask questions after, I will be more than happy to continue to talk in LinkedIn or wherever you want.
Okay.
Perfect.